Hello there, this is Bic Benedict. We're playing God of War 3 Remastered on Chaos difficulty, and this is my Pain Plus run for the aforementioned title. We are on installment 2 of God knows how many installments there will be, and this is about a slightly under 20-minute video, and it's going to take us, let's see, where does it take us? Oh, it'll take us just to the conclusion of the 3 judges of the Underworld trial, and then there will be a brief chapter after that, and then I think we'll have the Hades Cerberus times 2 boss battle right before you enter Hades Palace, and that will be a self-contained video because it is a boss fight, although it's rendered pretty simple by the techniques that I'm going to show you. And then the video after that will be Hades Palace, and then Hades himself. I just took Hades down, and it takes a lot of practice to take that boss down, but there's absolutely nothing that's unfair about that boss fight, and I love it. So I thought I would introduce you to the 4 grabs. This first one is the pile driver. It's the circle button and then the square button. And notice right there that if you press X after that, it throws them. So this is grab number 2. It's the torso rend. It's the safest grab that exists because you get full iframe immunity. And then we'll have grab 3 coming up here. And this is the throw. It's the circle button and then X. And it could also be aimed with the right analog stick. So when you're with deciding who you're going to throw it at, you don't have any iframes, but the second you throw the enemy, you do have iframes. And then this is the 4th one here. This is called grab 4, and it's the punch and decapitation, which is O and then O again. You have full iframe immunity during the head ripping animation right there, but anytime you're just punching with that particular grab, no iframes. So if you review right before it said grab 4, you'll notice that there was a point at which an enemy hit me, and I was in the process of hitting the enemy, and then there was another part where I was ripping the head off, and their attacks went right through me because I had iframes. So the first set of enemies, there's going to be 2 to the right, and then what you're going to want to do here, because I always try to do this no damage, you want to double back here and then grab them. It's the fastest thing to do, and you have iframes. And then the reach of the enemies isn't that long, so you're pretty safe, but notice that you get trapped in between the enemies twice. So what I do is I kind of very gradually go over to the right, and then I backtrack every time I pass where I think the tripwire point is. So there's going to be this guy here and another guy, and then 2 more guys to the right per usual, and that's a done deal. So the kick is square, the long range chain attack is triangle, and nothing is on the X button, and the circle button for that is going to be the throw, where he kicks them and pushes them off. So we're in the realm of Hades here, and I love this fight that's coming up here. So the Pain Plus rules here do not allow you to deflect the petrification gaze that the Gorgons do. However, once you kill them, you take their head off and then you freeze everybody. I have no problems stone shattering enemies that are in that kind of situation. I also have no qualms about, like, if their petrification gaze just shatters enemies in its wake, like the harpies get instantly killed. Also, you know, if it's just out of a consequence and I don't have any control over it, then I do it and don't have any reservations about it. But these are called Lost Souls, and they have an attack, but it doesn't hit. It doesn't take any damage off of you. I guess the thought is that it's such a weak enemy, and even though we're weakened, having fallen to hell, we're still much more durable than to withstand an attack from one of those some minions. But like right here, I have no problems about doing this. And then you're going to have another Gorgon Serpent coming up. And it's just wonderful. You're technically not supposed to use relics either. And the only relic I have equipped, or activated I should say, is Hephaestus' Ring, which completes the quick time events for you. And like I said before, I mentioned this to somebody else, but like what I'm doing here is just for my own pleasure, even though it's kind of a sadistic course that I'm running here on this game, since it's so brutally difficult. But I'm not submitting this to for anybody's approval, and I'm not. It has to go through no verification process other than my own. So if I make small transgressions here and there, I don't think it much matters, as long as those transgressions don't ever, aren't exacerbated. I said that wrong. Exacerbated. And taken on a whole nother level. Because in video 1, you did see me use the Golden Fleece to parry and then do the riposte, and you're not supposed to do that either. But my thinking was, well, first of all, I didn't even realize it when I was doing it, but then when I thought about it after somebody pointed it out, I said to myself, well, they're just a bunch of standard nothings, and if you want to base some criticism off that, base some criticism off some of the harder fights that are coming up, not just those, because anybody can do those. It's, as long as you can press the O button, you can beat those guys. So this thing down here is called the Hades Mongrel, I think, or the Cerberus Mongrel. And we are going to be getting the bow, and unfortunately we're not going to be able to use it except to do environmental puzzles, where if we didn't use the bow we couldn't progress. So notice that he doesn't hit you until you're actually starting to fight him, and I've made some pains here to edit out a lot of the, when the camera pans all over the place and takes quite a long time. I've just removed all those, and I will be removing all of those. So this guy has a trio of attacks, like 3 attacks, and I think there was one point on Hades where I did accidentally deflect one of the skulls back, because I was trying to hit him and then I guarded really quick to block one of the skulls, and it just necessarily parried one of the skulls and hit him. It might have even happened twice. And you think to yourself, well, I'm not going to do the whole fucking fight just because that happened. So anyway, the moral of the story is, it's the spirit of what we're doing, not the letter of the law. Because at the end of the day, it's just a couple of sections that are just extremely, like, almost masochistically difficult. So once we get the bow from Prometheus here, we are going to, I think I'm going to kill these guys and actually use the bow, because there is no other way to kill the archers up there except to use the bow. Now you might be able to somehow jump up there off of another platform, I'm not sure. But this is for my own curiosity to see if I can do this, and I won't be succumbing to pedantry and looking at all the minor, picayune details, things like that. So we're just going to get the hell out of here now, shoot the bramble, and deal with some harpies who are always hard on all God of Wars. So what I'll say about this is that do not get the Lost Souls here, because they give a small health drop, every one of them, every time. So you'll want to heal after this. And when I say heal, I just mean to kill those guys for that health drop. What I've experienced on these harpies is the combat grapple is really good, but you want to be as aggressive as you can with the grabs here. Like when you're in the air and you see a bunch of them around you, just keep pressing the O button and then use the combat roll to get out of the way. Because when that kamikaze circle alights on the ground, you don't have much time to get out of its way. And if you don't have anybody to grab for iframes, you're likely to get hit. So we'll have a couple more difficult sections in Hades Palace, but this one it's extremely difficult. I don't know if I took damage here. If I didn't, I'll be amazed. But I don't think I took damage here. No, I didn't. Unless this guy hits me here. So I did manage to take no damage on that section. So on a Pain Plus run, you're not allowed to open the health chests or the magic chests. Now you shouldn't be opening. You shouldn't need to use the magic chests anyway, because you're not supposed to use magic, and I won't be. So how do you heal on a run like this? There's two ways. First of all is you kill enemies that yield health, like the Lost Souls or the Minotaurs, which always yield health if you do the QTE. Or you continually allow yourself to get killed. It's always worked that way in God of War on every one of them. So if you go to a new encounter and you keep dying, what you'll notice is that you're gonna get a little bit of health back with each death, and I don't think it starts kicking in till about the third or fourth death, something like that, and it only gets to a certain point where they'll give you a little bit of health back each time for maybe like 5 times, and then that's it. You'll see it just stop. And that is another way to get health. That's what I always do that. Because otherwise, unless you're going to somewhere where they give you a heal, like on, I think Hades, I think the boss fights, they generally give you a full heal. And this is another situation where I'm gonna get some health back. And it's the trial that begins the Judges of the Underworld series of trials. And I'm going to put this in fast forward because all I'm doing is running around and grabbing the Lost Souls for HP. What happens here is that some of the claws will grab the Olympic citizens and turn them into Lost Souls. But it doesn't much matter because you're just going to be killing everybody with the grab. And then this one here, this guy is going to turn into a Minotaur. And then every subsequent one that goes through the gate is going to turn into an Olympus Century. So it is actually in your best interest to kill all the Lost Souls. But if you want to, you can just grab the Centuries and then just ram them into everybody. And you will be fighting one other Minotaur. These are Minotaur grunts. They're the lowest of the Minotaur chain. There's 2 other Minotaurs I don't think I've mentioned, but there is an elite one, which you'll see that variant when we get to the Protect the Chain sequence. And then you'll see some Labor's Minotaurs later in the game as well. And you can tell that they are that variety because they have a different type of a weapon. It's like gold. But I thought they were on the Switchblade trial, but the ones that are on the Switchblade trial are the elites. So when the second time that I did this guide, I struggled a lot on the 3rd trial that's coming up, and for which you do get a checkpoint every time. Like every trial you do, there's 3 of them, you'll get a checkpoint. But I think this one I did it like on my 2nd try, but it really is annoying. And it's only annoying because we can't deflect the Gorgon, her stone gaze. So on these Minotaurs, you can hold the triangle without launching yourself to launch them up without you, and do a good throw. Watch out for the combat grapple. The combat grapple is good to push them off places sometimes and just instantly kill them. But they block the combat grapple a lot, especially the elites. So really good things to do. Here's me just messing around with photo mode. You launch them and then you do the combat grapple in the air, and then you hit, or excuse me, yeah, you do what I just said, and then you grab afterwards. So you can do a combat grapple in the air to deal damage, and then a throw to deal damage in the air. And then as you're both falling, you can do the triangle to hit them over their heads, and it works really well. So just remember this place. I'm sure you will, because the next time we get to this place, if we do, it'll be hell on earth. So this one here, you've got a Gorgon and a Harpies. Now, I do have a little bit of an advantage because the QuickTime event waggles the analog stick so fast for me, but I have no reservations about it. You should be able to take the QTEs off anyway. Now, this is really easy if you just deflect the petrification gaze, because then the Harpies will get frozen in the air and fall to the ground and shatter. So, as much as you might want to stone shatter the Minotaurs that get frozen, for instance, if I'm fighting this enemy and there's a Minotaur around and she petrifies the Minotaur, I have no like reservations just stone shattering him, because I didn't, you know, she did it. It wasn't instigated by me. She froze him. I didn't have any role in it. Like right there. I think the reason I didn't go through with that was because I want the guy's health. Even though I don't really need it too much, but I might if she hits me too many times. Or anything like that, so. This is actually really hard because you're gonna have even more Harpies coming in here, and then I think like at least one more Minotaur. Okay, so the computer did that one really fast for me. And anyway, so he's frozen, I'm frozen. I'm not sure if you can. I think you can parry her grab. I know you can do it on Ascension, but I haven't messed around with it because I don't have the ability to do the riposte, but I should check if I can just parry it. Okay, so with her left, you're gonna have these, so I would get on these guys as much as possible. She's gonna be aiming at you, so if you're in the air grabbing them, there's a good chance that she'll petrify some of them in the air. And with them gone, then you can just focus on launching everybody. And you know, it's not such a hassle. The Harpies just take so much concentration, and they deal a lot of damage to you too. Okay, so this as well, I earned the right to have everybody get petrified here, so I have no problems about using this. I don't know if it violates the rules, but I don't care, because I didn't really, you know, I didn't really instigate that as much as I killed her and then it instigated it, but that's it. So this is the last guy. Just I go by the sounds of these guys too, what they're doing. Once they ram you, they do a fast attack too. And I think once this guy is dead, we will be in the next part, and it'll just be a continuation of this Realm of Hades. It won't be the Cerberus ×2 boss battle quite yet. See that combat grapple in the air, then throw, and then just finish them off here. And that is a done deal, and I will see you guys in the next installment. Take care.